Today we're down at Raventore testing out the latest Petzl NEOX, and I've been climbing today with the legendary Steve McClure, so it's been really interesting watching him climb and also see what his thoughts are on this brilliant bit of kit. People have been sport climbing for years on the Petzl GRIGRI, and it's pretty damn famous, everyone loves this. However, they've now brought out another assisted belay device, the Neox. So we're here today to talk about the differences and why you choose one over the other. So as an avid trad climber, when Petzl wanted me to review their latest belay device for sport climbing, we thought we'd better get a decent sport climber involved. Both of us never used a Neox before. What did you think of it?
I thought it was great. As an assisted braking device, as a lead belay device, it's absolutely awesome. Do
you think you'd be able to change from a GriGri easy enough? Because I mean, you say you've used GriGris for years, know them like the back of your hand.
Like I say, it works really well. I mean, the real benefit of this device is it pays out
it's
slack.
Slick, yeah.
Really, really slick. But it locks well. Really, this is it's a lead belay device, so it needs to be used in that manner. Same as a friction plate.
Yep.
That's really what it's used for. But it does have the added bonus that it is assisted braking as well. It's like the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So with the friction plate, it's so fast to pay out slack. And I think people have been a bit wary of using the GriGri in the past because it can be a bit locky if you're not used to using it. You know, it does take time to get used to it. Whereas this sits really well in the middle ground, pays out well, takes in well, has the assisted braking, perfect.
So an assisted belay device does exactly that. It assists a fall. It makes it much easier to catch someone while taking a fall. Nearly always use sport climbing. Not great for trad climbing, but sport climbing, obviously we fall off quite a lot. We usually try and get our limit, so it's really helpful. The main thing that I think people are going to ask about these devices are, what's the difference? Because they look pretty similar, so it's worth looking what's happening inside. So as you can see here, the main difference is they have reinvented the wheel. Now what that means is it's much slicker to pay out rope. So while people love the GriGri and it sort of really assists and they've used it for years, one of the problems you do have is if someone wants slack quickly, sometimes you can snag and it can lock and it's hard to give them the slack they need and you can short rope them. I'm quite good at that. So while real avid sport climbers seem to be okay with this, use it for years, got their techniques to make it work so they can pay out quickly, if you go trad climbing and then come back to sport climbing, often it can be a bit of a sticking point. And also if you've trad climbed for years and you're new to sport climbing, you can actually find them a complete disaster. Sorry to bring up you in this, Dad, but I know you hate this. You've trad climbed all your life and you struggle to use one of these. So as you can see here on the GriGri, the rope comes in here and out here, and there's no moving parts. It's quite an acute angle, so you have to be good at paying the rope out. Otherwise it does get a bit sticky. And then when it lifts up and jams the rope, obviously it jams it really well. Now, as you can see inside the Neox, the rope goes in a similar way, but this moving wheel here just means the rope can pull out much slicker. It spins really quickly, and it's been really noticeable today. You can literally just pay rope out, no problem. When the fall happens and the rope gets pulled up, it squishes the rope in this area and then locks nicely. I think what's really noticeable is, again, with a GriGri, if someone does take a fall or you pay out rope and it gets snagged and you want to pay out more, it's actually quite hard. You suddenly got to do something about it for rope to come out. This, if you do feed quickly or someone does fall, will lock, but you can actually unlock it pretty easily just with the weight of the rope. So if you make a mistake, actually it's really quick to readjust it and give the climber the slack they need. And just like the GriGri, it's got the handle here for lowering. So when someone tops out, you can lower them down really smoothly. So the big question, if you own a GriGri, should you get a Neox? If I'm honest, if you know how this works, you'll stick with it and you are really happy with how it works, you probably don't need to buy one of these. However, if you go out with someone like myself, who's a bit rubbish with a GriGri and often short ropes you, you will find it's a much slicker system. I also think if you're new to sport climbing or haven't already got an assisted belay device, it's well worth having a little play with both of them, because if I'm honest, like myself, I actually think I much prefer the Neox because it is just so much smoother, and I think I'll be upsetting less of my pro sport climbers. So in short, it feels a lot more like a normal tubular belay device like you would use for your trad climbing. So have Petzl reinvented the wheel? Well, no. However, I think they've made some great improvements. Would I buy one? Yes. I think for me, it works better, a nice feel to it, and it's not for everyone, but it gives really great options for all the climbers out there.